Your brain runs on fat, not sugar. Most people don't realize this because we've been taught for decades that sugar or carbs are the main source of energy. While it's true that glucose can be used by the brain, it is actually a very dirty fuel. Think of it like burning wood in a fireplace. Yes, it produces heat, but it also creates a lot of smoke and residue. Over time, that smoke represents oxidative stress and damage to your brain cells. Fat, especially healthy fat, on the other hand, is like burning clean gas. It provides stable, long-lasting energy without creating all that extra damage. Your brain is about 60% fat by weight, which tells you just how dependent it is on high-quality fatty acids. One of the most important fats for brain health is DHA, an omega-3 fatty acid found abundantly in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. DHA helps keep the membranes of your brain cells flexible and able to communicate with each other. Fun. When you don't get enough of these fats, the brain becomes stiff, communication slows down, and memory, focus, and mood all begin to suffer. When people load up on sugar and refined carbs, their blood sugar spikes. This spike triggers insulin, and repeated spikes over time lead to insulin resistance. What many people don't know is that insulin resistance doesn't just affect your waistline, it also affects your brain. Insulin resistance reduces the brain's ability to absorb and use glucose efficiently. That's why Alzheimer's disease is often referred to as type 3 diabetes. If your brain can't access fuel, it begins to starve, and cognitive decline follows. But here's the interesting part. Your brain can run beautifully on ketones, which are a byproduct of fat metabolism. Ketones are like superfuel for the brain. They burn clean, produce less oxidative stress, and provide more stable energy. This is one reason why people who switch to a low-carb, high-fat diet often report clearer thinking, better focus, and improved memory. If you're trying to boost your brain health and protect it from aging, you want to emphasize foods rich in healthy fats. Wild-caught fish is an excellent choice, but if that's not available, high-quality fish oil or cod liver oil can help. Avocados provide monounsaturated fats that support blood flow and reduce inflammation. Olive oil, especially extra virgin, is another fantastic option with powerful antioxidants that protect the delicate structures in the brain. Even grass-fed butter and ghee contain short-chain fatty acids like butyrate that support gut health and indirectly benefit the brain. The key is quality. The brain thrives on natural, nutrient-dense fats, not processed oils like soybean or corn oil, which are inflammatory and damaging over time. When you eat these healthy fats, you'll notice a difference in how your brain feels. Instead of the afternoon crash that comes with a carb-heavy lunch, you'll feel steady and alert. Your concentration will last longer, and your memory will improve. This is because the brain isn't dealing with a roller coaster of high and low blood sugar. Instead, it's getting a steady supply of energy from fats. Over the long term, this protects neurons from degeneration and slows down the aging process of the brain. Healthy fats also support the production of myelin, the protective sheath around your nerve fibers. Stronger myelin means faster, more efficient communication between brain cells, which translates to sharper thinking. Children, adults, and older individuals can all benefit from eating more brain-supportive fats. For children, DHA supports brain development, learning, and behavior. For adults, it enhances focus and productivity. For older adults, it's protective against cognitive decline and memory loss. The earlier you start feeding your brain the right fuel, the better, but it's never too late to make a difference. The brain thrives in an anti-inflammatory environment, and cruciferous vegetables create exactly that. In addition to their unique phytonutrients, cruciferous vegetables are also rich in fiber, which plays an overlooked role in brain health. Fiber supports the gut microbiome, and a healthy microbiome produces short-chain fatty acids that have anti-inflammatory effects on the brain. This is part of the gut-brain axis, a two-way communication system between your digestive system and your central nervous system. When the gut is healthy, the brain is healthier too. Eating cruciferous vegetables daily feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, which then sends signals to the brain that reduce inflammation, improve mood, and enhance cognitive function. Cruciferous vegetables also provide essential micronutrients like vitamin K, folate, and potassium. Vitamin K is involved in the formation of sphingolipids, a type of fat critical for the integrity of brain cell membranes. Folate supports methylation, a process that affects neurotransmitter production and DNA repair. Potassium is necessary for maintaining proper electrical activity in the brain. Together, these nutrients provide the raw materials the brain needs to function at its peak and resist the decline associated with aging. Consuming cruciferous vegetables doesn't require huge quantities to see benefits. Even 1 to 2 servings per day can make a measurable difference in lowering inflammation markers and supporting detoxification pathways. Some of the most concentrated sources of sulforaphane come from broccoli sprouts, which can easily be added to salads or smoothies. Kale and Brussels sprouts can be lightly steamed to preserve their phytonutrients, while cauliflower can be incorporated into a wide variety of dishes. The goal is consistency, because the brain benefits most from steady, daily exposure to these protective compounds. When you think about brain aging, it is not just about memory loss, but also about maintaining clarity, processing speed, creativity, and emotional stability. Cruciferous vegetables provide a foundation that keeps all of these aspects strong. By protecting neurons from oxidative stress, clearing out toxins, reducing inflammation, and supplying essential nutrients, they give your brain the tools it needs to remain resilient over time. Many people focus on supplements and medications for brain health, but one of the simplest and most effective steps is to put cruciferous vegetables on your plate every single day. Polyphenols are one of the most powerful groups of compounds you can consume for protecting your brain and slowing down the aging process. These are natural plant chemicals found in foods like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, green tea, coffee, dark chocolate, and even extra virgin olive oil. What makes polyphenols so special is their ability to neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative stress, which is one of the leading causes of brain aging. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's oxygen, which means it is constantly exposed to oxidative damage. Over time, this damage breaks down neurons, disrupts communication between brain cells, and contributes to memory loss and cognitive decline. Polyphenols act like shields that protect neurons from this continuous wear and tear, helping the brain maintain vitality well into old age. One of the most important roles of polyphenols is improving blood vessel health. Your brain depends on a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through the bloodstream. If circulation is compromised, neurons starve, and the result is slower processing, brain fog, or even neurodegenerative disease. Polyphenols help keep blood vessels flexible and reduce arterial stiffness by enhancing nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, allowing for better blood flow into delicate brain tissue. That means more oxygen, more glucose from whole food carbs, and more micronutrients reach the brain exactly when they are needed. Berries and green tea, in particular, are excellent at improving endothelial function, which is the health of the inner lining of blood vessels. By regularly consuming these foods, you are literally improving the highways that transport fuel and nutrients to your brain cells. Polyphenols also have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest threats to brain health, often going unnoticed for years before symptoms appear. This type of inflammation damages synapses, interferes with neurotransmitter signaling, and eventually leads to neurodegenerative changes. Polyphenols downregulate pro-inflammatory molecules and calm the overactive immune responses that can harm the brain. For example, compounds in green tea such as AGCG have been shown to suppress inflammatory pathways that are linked to cognitive decline. Similarly, resveratrol, a polyphenol found in grapes and berries, activates protective genes that extend cellular lifespan and reduce brain inflammation. This anti-inflammatory effect is part of why diets rich in polyphenols are associated with a lower risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Another unique benefit of polyphenols is their ability to enhance communication between brain cells. They promote neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to form new connections and reorganize itself. This is critical for learning, memory, and recovery from injury. Compounds in blueberries, for instance, stimulate the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that supports the growth and survival of neurons. Higher levels of BDNF are linked to better memory and cognitive performance. When you eat polyphenol-rich foods consistently, you are essentially fertilizing your brain with the nutrients it needs to grow new connections and stay adaptable, even as you age. Cognition is not only about memory, it also involves focus, attention, creativity, and emotional regulation. Polyphenols support all of these functions by modulating neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Dark chocolate, for example, contains flavonoids that increase blood flow to the brain and boost the release of endorphins, improving mood and reducing stress. Green tea has the amino acid L-theanine along with polyphenols, creating a calm but alert mental state. Coffee, when consumed in moderation, enhances alertness while also delivering chlorogenic acid, a potent polyphenol that protects brain tissue. See, this synergy between polyphenols and neurotransmitters helps create a mental state that is sharp, resilient, and emotionally balanced. A single serving of blueberries or a cup of green tea won't transform your brain overnight. The benefits come from consistent, long-term intake. Studies show that individuals who consume diets rich in polyphenols over many years experience slower rates of cognitive decline compared to those who consume low amounts. This is why traditional diets such as the Mediterranean diet, which is abundant in olive oil, fruits, vegetables, and red wine in moderation, are associated with better brain health and longevity. The daily intake of polyphenols adds up, strengthening the brain's defense system year after year. Polyphenols also interact with the gut microbiome, which plays a huge role in cognitive health. Many polyphenols are metabolized by gut bacteria into smaller compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and exert protective effects directly in the brain. This means that when you eat berries or drink green tea, you're not just feeding yourself, you're also feeding your gut microbes, which in turn produce compounds that benefit your nervous system. Studies have shown that higher levels of these carotenoids are linked with better academic performance in young people and improved cognitive test results in older adults. Eggs also support brain health indirectly by stabilizing blood sugar. Unlike high-carb breakfast foods such as cereal, toast, or pastries, eggs provide protein and fat that keep blood sugar levels steady. Spikes and crashes in blood sugar are damaging to the brain because they create stress, inflammation, and glycation, a process where sugar molecules damage brain proteins. Starting the day with eggs gives the brain a steady supply of nutrients without the roller coaster effect of sugar and refined carbs. This leads to sharper focus, improved mood, and more consistent energy throughout the day. Another important point is that eggs provide all 9 essential amino acids, the building blocks of protein that are necessary for neurotransmitter synthesis. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA regulate mood, motivation, and relaxation. Without sufficient amino acids, the brain cannot produce these chemicals in adequate amounts. By eating eggs, you ensure your brain gets the full range of amino acids it needs to maintain emotional balance and mental resilience. This is why eggs are not just beneficial for memory and learning, but also for reducing stress and supporting overall mental well-being. One common misconception is that eggs are bad for cholesterol, and many people avoid them because of this outdated belief. In reality, dietary cholesterol has very little impact on blood cholesterol for most people. More importantly, cholesterol is a vital component of brain cell membranes and is needed for the production of hormones and neurotransmitters. The cholesterol in eggs actually supports brain structure and function rather than harming it. Eliminating egg yolks out of fear of cholesterol means missing out on some of the most critical nutrients for cognitive health. Consistently including eggs in the diet creates a long-term protective effect on the brain. Whether scrambled, boiled, poached, or lightly fried in a healthy fat like olive oil, eggs are versatile and easy to incorporate into meals. What matters most is eating the yolk, since that is where nearly all of the brain-boosting nutrients are found. Skipping the yolk and only eating the whites means you're essentially leaving behind the most valuable part of the egg for your brain. For children, eggs support brain development. For adults, they enhance productivity and focus, and for older individuals, they protect against cognitive decline. By providing choline, healthy fats, antioxidants, vitamins, and amino acids, eggs give the brain everything it needs to stay sharp, resilient, and youthful. Fermented foods are one of the most overlooked yet powerful ways to enhance brain health and slow cognitive aging. They work primarily through the gut-brain connection, a two-way communication system between your digestive system and central nervous system. This relationship is so strong that the gut is often referred to as the second brain. Within the gut live trillions of bacteria, collectively called the microbiome, which play a role in producing neurotransmitters, regulating inflammation, and protecting the integrity of the gut lining. When this system is healthy, your brain benefits. And when it's unhealthy, problems like brain fog, memory loss, depression, and even neurodegenerative diseases can begin to develop. Fermented foods such as sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, miso, and kombucha provide live beneficial bacteria or probiotics that help restore and maintain balance in the microbiome. One of the key ways fermented foods support cognitive vitality is by increasing the production of neurotransmitters. Certain strains of gut bacteria actually produce compounds like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Serotonin regulates mood, dopamine influences motivation and reward, and GABA promotes relaxation and reduces anxiety. A balanced microbiome leads to steady production of these neurotransmitters, which translates into better emotional stability, sharper focus, and improved cognitive function. When the gut microbiome is disrupted by processed foods, sugar, antibiotics, or chronic stress, the production of these chemicals declines, and this can manifest as depression, anxiety, or mental fatigue. By eating fermented foods, you reintroduce beneficial bacteria that bring the system back into balance and restore healthy brain chemistry. Another major benefit of fermented foods is reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a significant contributor to brain aging, damaging neurons, and interfering with their ability to communicate. The gut microbiome plays a central role in regulating the immune system, and when the gut is healthy, inflammation is kept in check. Fermented foods help maintain a strong gut lining, preventing toxins and inflammatory compounds from leaking into the bloodstream, a problem often referred to as leaky gut. When these harmful substances cross into the blood, they can eventually reach the brain and trigger neuroinflammation. By strengthening the gut barrier and supporting immune balance, fermented foods act as a protective shield, keeping inflammatory processes under control and preserving brain function. Fermented foods also improve nutrient absorption, which indirectly supports the brain. What's the brain? Many of the vitamins and minerals essential for cognitive health, such as B vitamins, magnesium, zinc, and iron, are absorbed more effectively when the microbiome is healthy. Some beneficial bacteria even produce vitamins themselves, particularly B vitamins that are vital for energy production and neurotransmitter synthesis. A diet rich in fermented foods ensures not only that you're getting these nutrients, but that your body is able to use them efficiently. This is especially important for older adults who often have reduced digestive efficiency and may be more prone to nutrient deficiencies that contribute to cognitive decline. Another important effect of fermented foods is their role in stress resilience. The gut microbiome interacts with the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which governs the body's response to stress. A healthy microbiome helps regulate cortisol levels, preventing the chronic stress response that damages both the brain and the body. People who consume fermented foods regularly often report feeling calmer, more resilient, and better able to handle daily pressures. Since chronic stress accelerates aging and shrinks areas of the brain involved in memory, supporting the microbiome through fermented foods can be seen as a natural anti-aging strategy for the mind. The influence of fermented foods on brain plasticity is another exciting area of research. Studies suggest that probiotics found in fermented foods may increase levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports the growth of new neurons and strengthens connections between them. Higher levels of this protein are associated with better memory, learning, and overall cognitive vitality. By promoting neuroplasticity, fermented foods don't just protect the brain from decline, but also enhance its ability to adapt and grow even later in life. This means that incorporating something as simple as sauerkraut or kefir into your diet can contribute to long-term improvements in brain performance. It's also worth noting that fermented foods provide variety in probiotic strains, each with unique benefits. While probiotic supplements can be useful, they often contain only a limited number of strains. Fermented foods, by contrast, provide a wide spectrum of live bacteria that interact in complex ways to support overall gut and brain health. This diversity is critical because the microbiome is like an ecosystem, and the more diverse it is, the more resilient it becomes. Regularly rotating different fermented foods gives your body exposure to a broader range of beneficial microbes, strengthening the entire system that supports your brain. Incorporating fermented foods doesn't require large quantities. Even small servings on a daily basis can have a profound impact on gut and brain health. A spoonful of sauerkraut with dinner, a small glass of kefir in the morning, or a cup of miso soup during the week are simple practices that deliver lasting benefits. Over time, these foods help build a resilient microbiome that reduces inflammation, enhances neurotransmitter production, stabilizes mood, and protects against cognitive decline. The result is not only a healthier gut, but also a brain that remains sharp, clear, and youthful. Nuts and seeds are some of the most nutrient-dense foods available, and when it comes to protecting the brain from aging, they deliver an incredible array of benefits. They are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, magnesium, protein, and a variety of antioxidants, all of which play unique roles in preserving cognitive vitality. Unlike processed snacks that spike blood sugar and contribute to inflammation, nuts and seeds provide slow-burning energy that keeps the brain fueled for longer periods without crashes. This stable energy is essential because the brain is a high-demand organ, and any fluctuations in blood sugar can impair focus, memory, and mental clarity. By making nuts and seeds a regular part of your diet, you provide the brain with nutrients that directly protect neurons from damage and support efficient communication between brain cells. One of the standout benefits of nuts and seeds is their vitamin E content. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects cell membranes, including those of neurons, from oxidative stress. Oxidative damage is one of the leading drivers of brain aging, breaking down the delicate structures of brain cells and impairing their function over time. Research has shown that people with higher dietary intake of vitamin E have a lower risk of developing cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. Almonds, sunflower seeds, and hazelnuts are particularly high in this nutrient, making them excellent choices for maintaining long-term brain health. By including these foods regularly, you essentially add an extra layer of defense against the gradual wear and tear that comes with aging. Nuts and seeds are also important sources of magnesium, a mineral that plays a key role in nerve signaling and neurotransmitter balance. Magnesium helps regulate the activity of NMDA receptors in the brain, which are critical for learning and memory. When magnesium levels are low, neurons become more susceptible to overstimulation, leading to cell death and cognitive impairment. Modern diets are often deficient in magnesium, which makes nuts like cashews, almonds, and seeds, such as pumpkin seeds, particularly valuable. Adequate magnesium intake has been linked with reduced anxiety, better sleep quality, and improved cognitive performance, all of which contribute to a brain that functions more efficiently and ages more slowly. The omega-3 fatty acids found in walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds are another cornerstone of their brain protective properties. Omega-3s, especially alpha-linolenic acid, are precursors to DHA, which is an essential structural component of brain cell membranes. Adequate omega-3 intake improves synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to form and reorganize connections, which is vital for learning and memory. They also have strong anti-inflammatory effects, counteracting the low-grade chronic inflammation that accelerates cognitive decline. By consuming a handful of walnuts or incorporating flax seeds into meals, you give your brain the tools it needs to maintain flexibility and resilience as the years go by. Protein and amino acids from nuts and seeds also play a role in neurotransmitter production. For example, tryptophan found in pumpkin seeds is a precursor to serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood, sleep, and emotional balance. Tyrosine, present in almonds and sesame seeds, is a precursor to dopamine, which supports motivation and focus. By including a variety of nuts and seeds in the diet, you provide the brain with raw materials needed to produce these essential brain chemicals. This ensures not just sharper thinking, but also a more balanced and stable mood, which is a crucial part of overall cognitive vitality. Nuts and seeds also contain polyphenols and other plant compounds with antioxidant properties that further protect neurons. These compounds reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and support the health of the vascular system. Since the brain is so dependent on a healthy blood supply, any improvement in circulation translates to better delivery of oxygen and nutrients. Pistachios and walnuts, for example, have been shown to improve endothelial function, which enhances blood vessel health. This increased circulation provides the brain with consistent fuel and helps remove metabolic waste products more efficiently, further slowing down the aging process. Another interesting aspect of nuts and seeds is their role in balancing energy and preventing overconsumption of harmful foods. And because they are satiating and nutrient-dense, eating them can reduce cravings for processed carbohydrates and sugary snacks. This indirectly benefits the brain because high sugar intake leads to glycation, a process where sugar molecules damage proteins and accelerate brain aging. Replacing processed snacks with a handful of almonds, walnuts, or sunflower seeds provides not only protection against this damage, but also long-lasting energy without the crash. This simple dietary swap can have profound effects on long-term cognitive performance. It is also important to note the synergy that comes from variety. Each nut and seed provides a slightly different nutrient profile, and by consuming a mix of them, you cover a broad spectrum of brain-supportive nutrients. Friends, walnuts bring omega-3s, almonds provide vitamin E, pumpkin seeds deliver magnesium and tryptophan, and flax seeds add lignans and fiber. This diversity ensures that your brain gets a complete package of protective compounds that work together to preserve its structure and function. Regular consumption of a variety of nuts and seeds essentially acts like nutritional insurance for your brain, protecting it from multiple angles at once. Incorporating nuts and seeds into the daily diet is both simple and effective. They can be eaten as snacks, sprinkled on salads, added to smoothies, or blended into nut butters. Even small amounts consumed consistently make a difference, as their benefits accumulate over time. The key is consistency. Because the brain requires ongoing protection from oxidative stress, inflammation, and nutrient deficiency. By making nuts and seeds a staple, you create a long-term strategy that supports memory, focus, mood, and overall cognitive vitality while keeping the brain youthful and resilient against aging.